Welcome to the last video here in the Level 1 Financial Mastery, and here we're going to be talking about who should be on your financial team. Now, this is something that you might think is kind of common sense, but what I do find is that a lot of business owners approach their team kind of by default. They don't always have the right players. So put this short video together for you just to whether you want to go and create the right team immediately or just grow your knowledge, at least you'll have an understanding of who should be on your team and what should you look for in each of the players on your financial team. So kicking us off here, we've got 4 key players. First one being your accountant, probably no surprise there. Next one, your banker, which you may have also thought of, a financial advisor. Now, I'm going to go into a lot more detail on these, and finally your coach. Now, you see I've put the coach last there. I didn't want to see too biased, but I'm actually going to tell you why I believe your coach is the most important person to have on your team. But anyway, let's dive into each of these and see what's involved and see how your current team stacks up for you. So first one, your accountant. What we're looking for is a rock star accountant. So if you go up to the front door and you see they have this above their office door, then you know you're at the right place. Well, kind of. So a rock star accountant is someone who is proactive. Now, proactive is a pretty general term, but what I'm talking about there is, do they look at where you're going and look at who you are and advise things for you to make your business better and help you move forward? So the key way to know, if you go to your accountant, they're simply doing your taxes for you and processing and doing your governance, and they're not really asking any other questions of you, then that would suggest it probably isn't a proactive accountant. Now, you've got to give accountants a little bit of a break because majority of business owners are relatively unsophisticated when it comes to the financials. So, quite often they may have tried to be proactive and become jaded over time because people didn't want to know about their numbers, and so now they don't ask the question. I've certainly seen that happen. The flip side is when you do come to an accountant who asks you some very detailed questions when you get started and sits down with you certainly annually, if not every 6 months or every quarter, to sort of look at how things are and make sure you're on track. So a proactive accountant will do that with you. It is not your accountant's job to teach you about financials. I should mention that. I have come across business owners that get upset because their accountant doesn't teach them about financials. It's your job to teach yourself about financials and to be financially literate. But it is your accountant's job maybe to see if you're not and maybe advise some learning resources or a way for you to get up to speed. Now, they may be able to help you there and they may charge you a fee, and they should charge you a fee for that. But that is your responsibility to become financially literate. So proactivity, number 2 there is being willing to work with your other advisors. You're going to see when I talk about the coach is kind of the quarterback who really should be bringing your advisors together where appropriate, and you want to make sure whenever you're setting up any of your team that they are willing to work with your other players on your financial team, because they all need to be talking the same language to move you in the right direction in alignment. They should be well-rounded, and actually I'll flip the next one up here. They should fit the size of your business. So what I'm saying here is that if you're a small business, like you're just starting up, say you're under 200,000 in revenue, you wouldn't go to the KPMGs of the world who are international firms, for the simple reason is they're going to be able to help you for sure, but their fees are also going to be higher because they have such immense resources, and it's going to be overkill for what you need. You want to make sure your accountant is a fit for your side of business. And so if you are going to someone who's a one-person show, you want to make sure they're well-rounded. They understand some tax, they understand governance, they understand how to bring accurate reporting to you as a business owner. So that's kind of important. So you're probably looking for a bit of industry experience there. And on the fit the size of your business, I think it's important to note that you can and you will probably progress through different accountants. I've had clients that have started with a one-person show, moved up to a 3 or 4 partner firm, and eventually gone to an international firm when their business has grown to that level, because you will need different things at different levels at your business. So the next one, your banker. People often think, I go to the bank and they're going to give me lots of money to help me operate my business, and they may, if you've done your job in presenting your financials well and run your business well and have a clear vision of where you're going, a bank will often come to the party. However, it's not their responsibility to bail you out when you don't have enough cash. So some things to look for in your banker. Number one, I believe, is relationship. When you have a great relationship with your banker, sometimes they can pull some strings and they can do some things that are sort of outside the normal governance or benchmarks. Now, don't look for miracles here, because banks are governed by a pretty tight banking act. However, relationship can go a long way. I mean, you've probably seen this with customers and with vendors alike. Relationship is very important if you're looking to get some favors. And again, those favors are within reason. So your banker, you want a banker who understands your business. And this is, whenever a client asks me about which bank should they go with, I tell them that it's not so much about the bank, because most banks are pretty equal. They offer the same services. It is about the banker, the relationship you're going to have with that person. Are they going to be interested in your business? Are they going to understand it? And can they help you with all aspects? Ideally, you want a banker, and I know certainly within Canada there are certain banks that are structured differently, where you might have one banker for personal, one banker for business. I know the Royal Bank in Canada, they give you one person who looks after personal and business, which can be very helpful when you're trying to organize stuff in a small business. Often things are very intertwined. So you want someone that can see the big picture. And likewise, if you've got a more sophisticated business, you want to make sure your banker can help you with leasing, can help you with lines of credit, can help you with online banking resources. You want to make sure they've got all the things you're going to need. And same as your accountant, they should be a fit for the size of your business. And with the banks, they will pretty much dictate that. If you grow to a certain level, they'll move you to a different arm of the bank. And if that happens, make sure you're looking for those first three criteria with your new banker. Number three, your financial advisor. This one's a little more, outside the box. I mean, most people have a financial advisor. I don't want to say most, actually probably only about half. But I do find that most business owners, or certainly a large portion, have a financial advisor that may not be well suited to what they need longer term. Most people think of a financial advisor that can help you with your investments and help you with retirement planning in terms of making sure you got enough money put aside, and also help you with life insurances. And certainly they are important parts of financial advising, but there are some bigger picture items. The first thing you want to look for is someone who is very experienced, and I'm actually going to come back to that when I look at the fourth point here. You're going to look at someone who is qualified in estate planning, and this is part of the bigger picture of working with business owners. So a financial advisor or planner who specializes with business owners and is qualified in estate planning, they're going to help you be able to see some of the obstacles you're going to come up against and how you need to structure things, so that when the time does come that you are going to sell your business or you want to be investing in something else, you're going to have things set up properly from square one. Now, right now, if you're looking at level 1 of financial mastery and you're going through this program, the odds are that you don't have a massive estate right now, or it's not too complicated, and that's fine. I'm not saying you have to go out and hire the biggest guru in financial advising out there. Again, you've got to find someone who's a fit for you. I want to make sure that you understand, as your business grows and develops, that you want to have someone who matches that level of sophistication on your team, because not all financial planners and advisors are made equal. So you want to ask about the credentials they have. The last one, which I think is brutally important, is you want someone who walks the talk. The financial planning industry is one that has really blossomed, and it's relatively easy to get involved. You don't even have to have your own license. You can operate under someone else's license, and your level of study or qualifications can be quite minimal. The fact is, there are a lot of financial planners and advisors out there who are merely salespeople operating for other brokers, and that's fine. That fills a role. Certainly, you want to look to see, is that your financial advisor, are they doing what they're advising you to do? Have they got their ducks in a row, and are they organized? I think that is extremely important. So now moving on to the coach and why I believe the coach is the most important part of the team. I mentioned at the beginning, the coach is really your quarterback, the person who should be able to see your business holistically and is going to help your advisors work together where appropriate. So you want someone who is very experienced, again, matching the level that you're at. If you're just starting out today, well, you probably don't need, a Fortune 500 coach. But you do want to make sure they've got the tools to help you relative to where you're at. A tool would be something like this PowerPoint video is a tool that you can go to time and time again to help increase your knowledge. So a coach is someone that's going to hold you accountable. They're going to give you the skills and tools you need and help map out the plan to get you from A to B. So you want to make sure they've got the appropriate tools to help you get there. Relationship is very key. Is someone you're going to work with closely and you're going to confide in them, and you want to be able to trust them and know that you've got a solid relationship. So, I haven't put relationship with each of the advisors. There are some that I think it's more important than others. Certainly relationship is always important, but I think with your coach, it is very important. You want to make sure that your coach is someone who's going to have objectivity and they're going to speak to you candidly. And I've put that with a capital C because, and I speak from experience here, when I first started and I needed to have clients, I probably didn't tell them everything they need to hear because I thought they wouldn't like me. And hence, the client didn't get the best of what they need. So you want to make sure your coach isn't hiding things from you to protect you or your feelings. Now, when they speak candidly with you, it should be done in the right way, obviously. But your coach's job is to be completely objective and tell you what you need to hear. So look for that when you're first starting off with a coach and see how they assess to get the objectivity around your situation and see how clearly they dish up the truth. So lastly, walks the talk. Same as the financial advisor, you want to make sure your coach walks the talk, they practice what they preach, and they live the same principles. So I think that's a very important point there. So look, they're your 4 key players and a bit about what to look for in them. Each of those players may evolve through the journey of growing your business and growing yourself, but at least that gives you a bit of a framework. So have some fun with it.